court has a serious and difficult task before it. In the time since the General Assembly first requested this advisory opinion, the international community has confronted the horror of the terrorist attacks of October 7, including the taking of hostages who have yet to be released, and the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas, which has had severe, widespread, and tragic consequences for Palestinian civilians in Gaza. Violence, including extremist settler violence, also surged in the West Bank. The court should not take up the suggestion of some to interpret the questions in this proceeding as encompassing the entire question of Palestine. The request seeks advice only with respect to the legal consequences of the conduct of one of the parties to the underlying conflict. This one-sidedness, which contrasts with the reciprocity inherent in the established framework, necessarily must inform the court's approach to this advisory proceeding. Second, contrary to the assertions of some participants, in calling for the court to take this measured approach to the question referred, the United States is by no means suggesting there is no role for the court, nor is it the position of the United States that the court must refrain from considering violations of international law or the legal consequences thereof. Participants who have said as much have misunderstood us. Our argument is grounded in respect for the UN Charter and the roles and responsibilities assigned to the UN's principal organs. A few days ago at the Munich Security Conference, Secretary Blinken emphasized that it is more urgent than ever to proceed to a Palestinian state, one that also ensures the security of Israel and makes the necessary commitments to do so. In light of these considerations, the court should not find that Israel is legally obligated to immediately and unconditionally withdraw from occupied territory. The court can address the questions before it within the established framework based on the Land for Peace principle and within the parameters of established principles of occupation law. Mr. President, members of the court, as I said at the outset, you have a difficult task before you. Others have asked you to broadly construe the questions and the law. They have asked you to try to resolve the whole of the dispute between the parties through an advisory opinion addressed to questions focusing on the acts of only one party. The United States disagrees with that this approach would be consistent with the court's role within the United Nations or the established UN framework for achieving peace through negotiations. Hamas's attacks, hostage-taking, and other atrocities, the ongoing hostilities and the suffering of Palestinians in Gaza, and the violence in the West Bank reinforce the United States' resolve to urgently achieve a final peace that includes the full realization of Palestinian self-determination.